When Evil Lurks is a Spanish-speaking horror film that was released about 3 months ago from this recording. It is February right now, so it was either came out in November or October. Don't think it came out in October because it would have been in my radar, but anyway, it came out and somebody told somebody else that they should watch it. And when I asked that person, have they seen any good horror films, they recommended this, but they hadn't seen it yet. So I looked it up and I saw that it was available on Shudder, and I watched it, and I have to say this is one of the best horror films I've seen in a very long time. It's kind of reminiscent of Talk to Me in a sense, because this already has a world and a lore set up in, and we're just thrown into it, and we have to discover what's happening in it, kind of. I mean, we don't really have to discover it. It is told to us later on through the film, but it's like this mystery. We don't understand how this is happening. Basically, the film's about these two brothers, Pedro and Jimmy, who live on this farm in rural Argentina. And all of a sudden, they hear gunshots one night, and they go out to investigate what it is, and they find a body that's been cut in half. When they go to the person that lives near it, is the property of a friend of theirs. So, but they have somebody that lives on the property. When they go to these people, because they find that they have a picture of them of the lady's ID who is renting the house or lives in the house, they go to her and they ask her if she was expecting somebody. They tell her kind of yes that they were, when the guy's going to come, and they say we don't think he's going to come at all because we found something and we didn't want to tell her what they found. And she goes, why were you calling this guy over? And they go in to find that her son has become possessed. Now, basically this guy is a rotten, and I guess a rotten is one that becomes possessed that's about to give birth to either the spawn of Satan. See, not everything is clearly told of what exactly is happening in this world. There are people that do become possessed, and we kind of sense that this is the end of times in a sense, or like this happened a lot throughout our world, and now these people are like there's no cases of possessions anymore. So basically they called the authorities to tell them that their son or her son was possessed, and nobody came to do anything for over a year. So when you see this guy, you see that he's bloated. He has pus coming out of him of every orifice he possibly can. He's just disgusting. He's grotesque. He looks like you have to watch this. It's gross. So Pedro gets upset about this and goes to the police and tells them like, "What the hell you like?" And then go, "Well, how do you know? Have you seen a possessed before? Like, how do you know he's possessed?" And he says, "Well, when you know, you know, or like when you see, you know, that's what they say, right?" And he goes, "And I could tell you from looking at him, you could tell." So they got pissed. So they went to go tell the landowner, Ruiz, about this, and he's very pissed that this is happening. He says he should have never let those people on his property because this is going to destroy him. And the reason why the government doesn't care, the police doesn't care, the mayor doesn't care about this happening is because they want his land. They want him to leave. And he goes, he's not going to leave. This is his land. And he yells at the brothers that they should help him because they live on that land too. So they decide to take this rotten and just move him away and send him somewhere else far away. So this way, he can bother somebody else. But the mother and the other son, tell these guys, this is not how you're supposed to do things. Like, you can't just do this. You can't kill him, number one, because Ruiz first tries to go over there to kill him. And they say specifically, you can't use guns to kill these demons because they'll just possess you and then you'll, that's so you can't kill them with guns specifically. There's a way to kill them. You have to do it through a professional. And that's the guy who was going over there to see, this family that they found the body in the woods. So Ruiz, Pedro, and Jimmy take the body, I think 200 miles away, and they didn't get to drop him off because the little kid was riding a bike and almost went to the middle of the street. They swerved and he fell out of their truck, but they didn't see him fall out of the truck. So they just said, fuck it, leave him there. He's not our problem anymore. They go back home, and the next day, all of a sudden, Ruiz's wife is screaming because one of the animals starts acting weird, and that's one of the other things in this world. When animals start acting weird, that's when something's gonna happen, when a demon's around or something. So they walk over to Ruiz walks over to the goats that he has. He fires his gun. All the goats go away except for one who's just staring at him. And then he points the gun at him, and his wife's begging him not to because she's pregnant. And he's like, "You're gonna forsaken us. We're gonna be tortured. We're gonna be cursed because you can't kill them like this. Please don't do this." So he's just pointing the gun at this goat, and the goat just walks slowly up to him and puts the barrel of the gun on his forehead and just like stares at Ruiz like, "Do it." And Ruiz just looking at him, and then the goat yells, and Ruiz shoots and kills him. But then, spoiler, Ruiz's wife fucking hits him over the face with the fucking axe right away, so she got possessed. She kills Ruiz, and then she kills herself. And then this is when we're like, oh fuck, this is serious. This movie is really fucking great. And then it continues after this. Pedro and Jimmy are told about what happened to Ruiz. They decide to leave, but Pedro says he has to go get his family, and then he goes into the city to get his family, and basically what he does is, because he was near the rotten, his clothes have the scent of the rotten or the possessed, and that can actually possess other people if they touch it or they smell it, which is essentially what happens from here on. A dog, Ruiz's ex-wife's dog, smells the fucking clothes and gets possessed, and from there on, I'm not going to spoil the rest of the film. It is a really good film. But the conclusion of the story, with what these characters have to do now, is they're trying to find the body, the rotten that they threw out, because they have to kill him the right way now. So that's the film. It's really great. We're following flawed characters in a sense. They're not superheroes or heroes or traditional movie heroes at all. They're just regular characters that have their, like Pedro specifically, where he's our main character, who looks like CM Punk. He has all these internal demons, and I guess maybe that's why it's easier to fuck with him, because of all these things he did in his life prior to. He basically abandoned his family because his first son was autistic. His wife cheated on him because he would never come home, and he wanted to get rid of the son, and she didn't want to, and blah blah blah. It continues on from there. So because of this and all this emotions he has and the fear of these things, they're easier to attack him or people around him to get him to do things that they actually want. So the film is fantastic. It really is one of the best horror films I've seen in a very long time. I think it's better than Talk to Me. I really did enjoy this. I saw this 2 times already. It gets really good right at the part where I say where Pedro goes to see his ex-wife. That's when the film gets really good, and from then on, it just continues, and the third act's even better, and there's shit that you would never expect to happen, or you would never think you would see in a horror film today, especially not in theaters, that they do in this film. The CG is not perfect. There's a lot of kids acting in this movie, and I think they're horrible. I think Pedro's kids, one of them, the little kid, I forgot his name, the youngest one, I think he's god-awful. I think he's a terrible actor. Well, he's a kid. I mean, what can I say? I just don't think he's actually a real actor, so I think he's awful. And then later, there's other kids in the film that are also really bad actors. So that takes a point or half a point away from the film. And also the fact that they don't actually explain every single thing, like how every single thing works in this film, that will take off another point. So overall, I would have to give this movie a 4 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I thought it was great. Those are the only issues I have with the movie, and even that, the kid acting is barely anything, but the fact that they don't really talk about totally everything they do basically give you the gist of what you need to enjoy the film. That's what they do. They don't go into any more. Like, we don't know what happened originally, because supposedly this has been for years that there hasn't been another possessed case ever, so we don't know what happened. Everything, basically fell. Civilization fell for a little while, and we don't really get a sense of that. But it's a really good movie. I would love to see this done, not remade in America. I would like to see them do a sequel to this in another country, do a Korean version of this, or or any other version, and then we could do an American version. But they're all different stories, and they're all in the same world. I think that'd be fantastic. I think that'd be great. I think that's the way to do multiple films, and they all could be in the same universe. This was great. This director supposedly directed another good film called Terrified, not Terrifier. So I'm going to check that one out after this, because I've never seen that before. I saw the thumbnail many times and just never watched it because I think it was a Spanish-speaking film. But after seeing this and how good this was, I'm definitely going to check that out. So anyway, if you haven't seen When Evil Lurks, definitely check it out. Highly recommend it. I enjoyed it. As I said, I watched it 3 times already. So anyway, that's my review for When Evil Lurks. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, leave a comment down below, and let me know what you thought about this film, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.